mind the center.
Perfect.
No.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for showing up for our Tabletop Freelance 101 panel hosted by Kobold Press. I am your littlest red dot, repping Kobold Press as their Twitch producer, and I am like overjoyed to be sitting up here with these incredible folks. So I'm going to let you go one by one and quickly introduce yourself and let everybody know, where they can find you and stuff. Start us off and pass it down.
Hey y'all, my name is Danny Quatch. You can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan. I'm also the new community manager for Roll20. So. Oh, and I'm super stoked. Like these people are. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Shut up, Danny. Stop. Hello, everyone. My name is KP, also known as KP11 Studios, and I do photography. I do cosplay, portrait photography, and I get to play games with amazing people like these folks here, and somehow managed to be on this panel. So, apologies.
Stop. Hey everyone, I am Vee Mus'e. You probably know me from Black Die Society as Veronica. You've also seen me on Kobold Press's channel as their DM for both The Last Heir as well as the Scarlet Citadel. And every so often you might see me painting some minis as well. And I'm also Codename Entertainment's partner manager.
Jeez. Okay, VGs. Hi, I'm Gabe James Games across the internet. I'm DMO in Dimension 20. I am creative producer at Roll20. Nothing else has 20 in it, but it just sounded nice to say them together. Cosplayer, voice actor, game designer for digital and tabletop, and obligatory compliment of all the people here.
Well, I really appreciate, and I'm sure everybody does, y'all showing up today to kind of share your insights. This whole world of tabletop over the last, decade has kind of grown into a very interesting and unexpected industry, I'd say, especially adding the entertainment kind of side of it. And each of you brings something very unique, I think, to the table. Yes?
Can I curse?
Oh,
That's a good question.
Can we? Are we allowed?
I don't see. Are there children? I don't see children.
This is on Twitch.
That's actually really good. Probably
okay,
PG-13
good. No.
seems relevant.
It's PG-13 because we're on Twitch.
Okay, there you go.
I can do
Okay,
that.
I called it. Okay.
We get one.
Yes.
So each of you are bringing these really incredible talents from various aspects of the tabletop world, from community management to writing, minis, photography, design. So I've got a couple questions we're going to start with, and then I'm going to actually pass it off to all of you because I'm sure that you also have some pretty incredible questions that I did not think of and or write on these cards. And there are mics to your right that you can take, and I'll kind of give a call. We'll start taking questions, and you can line up. Please remain 6 feet apart and wear your mask at all points, please. All right. So let's see. I got some questions here. I think the biggest question I want to start with is, how did you get started? This is not something that just happens overnight, obviously. A lot of you have been at the hustle for a while. So where did it begin? How did you get from there to here?
Are we going one by one again?
If you're feeling good about that, yeah, sure.
I actually started off as a board game content creator. I didn't see people represented like me, so I was just like, hey, I'll do it myself. And I kind of just fell into this awesome world of tabletop in general. And yeah, it starts off just by kind of building a brand. What can you add? You don't even need like anything prolific. It's just like, if you're excited about board games, somebody out there is going to kind of have that same point of view. They can connect with you, and you start building community that way.
I came through photography. Photography and cosplay. I was initially a watcher. I loved watching amazing people. I didn't even, honestly, about a year and a half ago, I didn't even really play tabletop role-playing games. I didn't really play too many board games in general. I think my limit was Monopoly. So
Don't say that too loud.
I hated that game. But I think it's just that constant, what I've learned is anything and everything can lead wherever you want it to go if you are able to find the connecting dots and then find the right people that can help you along the way. And you build that community around yourself with whatever you're doing. And yeah, I just really loved it. Ended up playing it with friends initially, D&D, a couple games. And then next thing I knew, someone that I randomly reached out to me, like, hey, we're planning on doing a stream together. Would you like to join us? And I'm like, okay, I've never done this, but and especially as a photographer, I'm always behind the camera, so being in front of it has been a completely different world. And yeah, you just start from one place, and the next thing you know, as long as you keep just learning and growing and meeting the right people that are willing to give you that opportunity, I think it just builds up from there. And before you even realize it, to be honest, you're now here.
Yeah, very similar path for me. I actually started out making terrain and painting miniatures for tabletop games, and I started with my YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. From there, it turned into, hey, you make things for the table. Would you ever want to play at our table? So I started appearing on streams and playing as a player, and then it turned out that I was asked to be a DM for D&D in a Castle, which is what got me into being a dungeon master, which then led to Kobold Press, which then also led to working with Kobold Press and getting an essay going for the Kobold Guides to Monsters, as well as the Vault of Magic with 7 magic items. So that's the TLDR of how I got here.
These are all incredibly impressive people. I started by posting online. That's why I asked if I could curse. Literally just putting ideas out there of like, these are the worlds that I want to see. These are the way I want to have experiences in games. These are concepts that I want to put out into the world. And people would relate to those, people were excited about it, and people would reach out saying, we want to make those things too. Can we make those things together? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And just doing that over and over and over again, and having to have that realization that I don't have to be the best at something to make something that's the best.
Yeah. So all of you seem to be content creators from a variety of places. And there is a little bit of a hustle, I think, that comes with being a freelance artist of any kind, but particularly in an industry that is a niche of a niche. What does the hustle really look like? What is the hustle? How do you define it?
I want to start.
Yeah, by all means, please.
You need to take care of yourself. If you do not take care of yourself, you will make crappy work. No matter how many hours if you're working 18 hours a day to write the best story, and you are tired and you are not eating and you are writing this, it's not going to be good. And you're going to finish it because you just want to finish it and not because it's something you care about. I have burnt myself out so many times in the last year that I had people checking in to see how I was doing. And I realized when I went back and read some of the work, it wasn't work that I was proud of. I did it, but I wanted to make sure I was pacing myself to make work that other people were proud of. Because there's always a moment, especially when you're freelancing, you might have made something that people love, and you know yourself what it could have been if you had taken the time to give it the care that it needs.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that hits hard.
Yeah.
Even now, to me,
Doesn't
like
it?
today, because I'm sorry, please. I think you.
No, I agree. It's one of those things, like the hustle is definitely taking care of yourself. It's also how you interact with others is part of the hustle.
Yes.
You
Being a decent person gets you a job.
It really
Like,
does.
especially in this industry.
Absolutely.
Because we talk to each other. Like,
Yes.
I talk to Vee about random nonsense, and I know that like after making friends and having the conversations, if I need something, I can rely on these people because they're reliable and they're decent people.
Yeah.
If you know someone's reliable but they're a terrible person, would you want to work with them?
No.
That's my creative director right there.
Yes. So no, it's a matter of when you're in the hustle, don't get so pulled into the hustle of I gotta get there, I gotta get there, I gotta get there. You're turning people from people into ladder rungs or stepping stones.
Yeah.
Because that is something that will be remembered for a very long time. You interact with people as people. You respect them for what they bring to the table and what you can offer them as a person as well, and that will get you so much further in the process than if you see an opportunity in a person as opposed to the person for how you can collaborate with them. There's a very strong difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also like big difference is like you can be excited for working with someone that you admire. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, every one of us has people like you're like, oh my God, that would be such a cool thing to do.
Right.
To be able to hang out and be stuff and do that. But there's a difference between being excited for that and then going, oh my God, that person is, you know, like a money symbol, a paycheck,
Right.
or like
A name drop.
a name drop or something.
I had someone say they wanted to work with me for clout. I didn't open that DM.
Wow.
I did not open it. I didn't. But it was funny though.
At least they're being honest, I guess.
No, it's for their honesty.
Like, for saving me the time.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have to open that email. But yeah, like you know, and like they said, people pick up so quickly if you're trying to be that way. Even if you're trying to be subtle about it or something, they just based on demeanor. So you can be excited, just don't be an asshole about it.
Yeah, authenticity is very important, but also like it's okay if people say no. Don't be discouraged by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do your research to see what publishers might want to work with you. Sometimes it's not a good fit, and that's not something personal. But you can still build relationships with them, and you can still be able to work with them in the periphery as a sensitivity consultant if maybe you're not a streamer or something like that. So it's a little, the hustle is really getting to know the product, getting to know who you're working with. And then again, putting that authenticity factor where like, if you're passionate about it, people will realize that for sure.
Yeah. There's that idea of like, you're gonna hear no, and no is not always a bad thing, because sometimes a no simply means not now, not versus not never, right? It's just a no. So kind of that grind of like, don't give up, just keep hustling, right? That's why we call it a hustle. Hustling.
That also, like, Danny, that's a great point, because saying, like that, for example, with Kobold Press, if, like, I'm like, I don't have time to work on this right now.
Right.
That is not, we've had a conversation, this is not me saying, I don't ever want to work with you. No, it's like, I don't have time to do this in the next 2 months. I loved working, maybe we can do it another time. So, like, if they say no to you, it's also okay for you to say no to them. I understand fear of missing out.
Oh, God.
Fear of missing out means nothing if you are not making anything good. Like, if you're not proud of it, you might be afraid that you missed out, but then you did miss out, and this thing is terrible. And you invested your time and energy, and you could have been, I don't know, eating Cheetos on the couch. And like, there are plenty of times I would have rather be eating Cheetos on the couch than writing some of the things that I've written. And I do that more now, and I'm happier.
I mean, hey, that's
For
okay.
sure.
Yes, it is.
So it's pretty evident, just
To eat
hearing.
Cheetos.
Yeah, to eat Cheetos. Everybody go home and eat Cheetos.
That's
Yeah,
the secret.
it's pretty evident, just kind of listening to you all talk, that not a one of you, show of hands, only do one thing, right?
Oh, God.
It's just like an impossibility. It's like not even in the definition of freelancing, right? Oh, somebody got excited. I heard you.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Leave me alone. I like cosplay. I have cosplayed Dream Daddy, Dragon Prince. Stop it. I've done Critical Role cosplays, and like, to be honest, being a multifaceted individual means people might see you for one thing and see the other things that you do. I've gotten work from thirst traps. Like, I'll admit it.
For sure.
Thank you.
All valid.
And it's because people are like, oh, that's a weird hot dragon man. Oh, he makes games. Neat.
Come here.
And then I've gotten contracts out of it. It's when people see that you can do many things, they also see you know how to manage multiple things. If anyone ever tells you to pick a lane, that's because they don't know how to drive.
Oh, y'all write that one down.
Yeah. Put that on a t-shirt.
Like, multiple lanes are a thing for a reason. You have so many destinations. You can go left, right, or forward. The ability to make that decision is up to you. You want to cosplay, then cosplay. You want to voice act, then voice act. You want to game design, then game design. And practice, and learn how to do it. And be reliable. Because for example, if Kobold Press needs a game designer, or a DM, or a storyteller, or an editor, and they know I can do all of those, they might only need one of those right now, but they know I can do all of those. They know I'm reliable for any of those. Be reliable for multiple things. And have fun. like, if we didn't have fun, we wouldn't be here talking about this.
It's true.
No.
I wanted to mention something off of that as well, because when you do all these things, even if you're not going to be doing, say you have a project and you're only specifically doing the writing portion of it, but because you have experience and knowledge on how the rest of that lane works, you automatically start creating a space where it makes easier for others around you who are in part of that process to make things work out, right?
Yeah.
And so eventually that automatically makes people want to work with you because they're like, oh crap, just by working with them, they know how to set things up so the rest of the team is set up for success. The rest of the crew can do what they need to do, so that way the end product is going to be amazing. So having all that experience, even if you're focused on one side, will still help you out.
Yeah. Even though you're freelancing, you're always a team player.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know a lot of you kind of started out as an individual, right? You start out as the single human or folk out there, like making a YouTube channel, starting a Twitch stream, a cosplay content story. The build out is very daunting. The build upwards, right? To expand, to add new things, to learn these new skills, to pick a different lane, which I think is a really great metaphor. Where do you start? How do you keep your spirits up when the world keeps telling you no, no, no? That's a good one.
Do it for you. If you do this for fame and attention, you'll be unfulfilled when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you do it because you're excited, even if no one cares, you're just excited the thing exists. Like the first game that I ever made, it's terrible. Terrible. But someone asked me about it last week on Tumblr, and I said no, but they were excited about it. And that was enough for me.
Yeah.
It's if I didn't enjoy, if I wasn't happy creating things, I wouldn't write books or games or any of those things. Being able to enjoy it and being able to enjoy it for me when other people enjoy it, it's just extra. And it's the best.
Yeah.
And don't get caught up in the numbers.
Yes.
Like-
oh yeah.
The people I have watched avidly check their follower count, check their subscriber count, base it upon what they see others getting for theirs as well, they begin to lose themselves to that as opposed to keeping themselves immersed in what their passion is.
I don't ever want to know how many followers I have anywhere.
Yeah, that's just it. As soon as you start fixating on those numbers, you forget about yourself as the person and what you can do within the community as yourself. Instead of the, hey, I'm a content creator, an influencer, I'm quote unquote, I hate using this word, famous. When that starts to become your focus, you start losing sight of what it is you truly and utterly want to bring into the community of tabletop games.
Yeah. That honestly, I'm an example of that because for the longest time, that's how I started view success was, oh, these numbers lead to success. That means how successful you are. And it's not a direct connection at all because people who have a different number are getting different opportunities. And so that does not translate to anything. Yes, maybe that might give a bit more visibility, but if it's the wrong sort of visibility, why does it even matter in the end, right? So yeah, like you said, it actually just makes you really unhappy.
Yeah.
And it's more about connecting with the right group of people who are willing to encourage the good side of you, who you can learn from and grow as a human being, and then that automatically translates into your work anyways. And then it's just like a nice feedback loop of positivity that's just going to keep making you want to go.
Yeah, that kind of idea of like setting your own success,
Yeah.
right? It's based on your levels of success, and therefore the goals to achieve that are going to be different person to person,
Yep.
right? They'll never be the same person to person.
Yeah.
So speaking of numbers, anytime we're in freelance, we still got to eat, right? We got to feed the cats. We got to figure out how to do our thing. Let's talk about multiple income streams as a freelance, right? It's not just that you have multiple things that you do, but you're looking at multiple ways of kind of sustainability for yourself in this industry. What does that look like for each of you? How have you built yourself up to be able to get to this point in that way?
Can I just say, screw the starving artist concept.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Okay. Don't quit your day job. You don't need to do that. I mean, you can make sure you have a healthy life. Make sure you get enough money to feed yourself and be content. You can do other things outside of that. You will eventually reach your goal. It might be, quote unquote, at a slower route than normal, but you're going to go about it in a healthy way. Man, it's not worth it, ever. It will never be worth it. All of those success stories based off of people sacrificing hours of sleep, sacrificing relationships, sacrificing food, and it's not worth it. Don't do it.
I think that goes back to the very first thing we said, which is like take care of yourself in the journey, right?
Yeah.
And it's your value, right? And the thing is like you can stick to your guns. You can build relationships, and it doesn't have to be a numbers game. But don't undersell yourself. There's going to be somebody out there that wants to work with you that will realize your worth. And we're building this community where if people are undercutting or doing things for free and we're not vocal and we're not visible about it, it's kind of like we're saying that, oh, you can pay us less, or you can, it's one of those things where if I wanted to go to KP and be like, hey, can I talk to you about this? I feel comfortable in bringing in numbers, and it was about multiple income streams. And you can do that in a lot of ways, but again, a lot of it comes with community. You can ask your community, hey, I'm really invested in setting up my stream. Is there anything I can do on that point so that I can get your support? So Patreon, everything has
Right,
like
pick
an
it,
income stream
Ko-Fi,
now.
pick your
exactly.
opportunity.
Yeah. Very much for me, it was a matter of I kept pursuing the home miniature painting, even to the point like I was doing commissions like people would say, hey, can you make me money? Sure, absolutely, why not? But at the same time, I still made sure that I had my 9-to-5 job on top of getting paid to be a player and or DM. So I had different avenues of bringing in an income from various areas. And the key point was making sure that I was still satisfied. And if it turned out that I was not happy at that point, then that's where you look for a new avenue and you find something else that brings you that joy so that you can keep doing what you're doing, but not burn yourself out. Because that's the other thing. You don't want to spread yourself too thin, like, I got to do this, I got to do this, I have to keep doing that and that and that. Find your sources that make it so you feel satisfied, that you feel fulfilled in what you're doing, and that you can maintain a lifestyle that you need in order to put food on the table, be able to have the internet bill paid and things like that. So it's a fine balance, but it's always a matter of keeping it to the point where you're not going too far, doing too much, trying to pull in whatever you possibly can. Find your best means and focus on those points, not everything all at once. Because that's something that can very much happen, and I've seen it happen to others.
I did that. It did not work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
I tried doing Patreon, Ko-fi, and Twitch simultaneously all on my own, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I was wearing myself thin, and it was exhausting. I found one of my favorites is itch.io because it lets you do like pay what you want for things that you put up. And I put up a thing that I was really proud of. It was a module for like character creation with class in 5e. And I was like really excited about it, and I started sharing about it, and I was like, you know what, this is where I want to like really try to focus my income, how I want to balance it out. And when I was excited about it and passionate about it, I put it up. I put it up last August on a pay what you want structure. It has made $15,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was because I figured out like this is where I wanted to focus my energy. When I was trying to do Patreon and Ko-fi and Twitch and split it up, I wasn't invested in it, but I'd seen it work for other people. So I was like, well, that has to work for me too, right? Because that's what they're doing. Yeah. And trying to freelance in the way that other people are doing it, try it. If it doesn't work for you, acknowledge that and change it.
Yeah.
What works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for Vee, doesn't mean it's going to work for KP, doesn't mean it's going to work for Dan. Whoa, it rhymes. It doesn't. What works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for any of them, and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have to just chalk it up as an L, right? Like, move on, because if what we're saying is that you're building your business around the goals you set on what you believe is your level of success, then you also have to find the income streams and the ways of doing that that fit those same goals.
Absolutely.
So somebody said the great word of knowing your value, which I think is really, really important. There is this point where so you're going to do some things for free. You're going to, it happens. But what is it? Do we take the free things? How do we set our levels of value around the work that you're providing to an industry? How do you set your level of value?
I think Gabe said it best, is like, if you're excited about something and it's maybe a publisher that you've never thought, in a million years you never thought, and they were like, hey, we need a guest person on the stream. Are you able to do it? We can't compensate you now, but it's kind of that bridge so they can see how you work. You can set that level of professionality and then see from there, hey, maybe afterward you get a foot into the door. So you balance that out for sure. And I think, again, it's okay to say no if someone was like, hey, can you do this for free? No, but here's my media sheet, or here's what I would charge. That is completely fine. And the more that we do it as a community, the more normalized it'll become.
Absolutely.
And not feel so like, oh, I need to be paid. Like, we all need to be paid for our work.
Right? Yeah, right? Time is money.
Yeah.
Do it because you want to.
Yeah.
Like, if there's something free and it's like, oh, I'm excited about this, and it's going to make you happy, then do it. Because that doesn't even mean it's going to be entirely work. It means that it's something you're excited to do. If you do it because like, all right, well, maybe this will be a good opportunity for me, consider it, gauge it. But don't any of you ever let someone take advantage of you. I say this very clearly. I have done it once, and now I have very good friends who, if it ever happens again, they will call me out on it, and I will never hear the end of it. Do it for free if you're excited about it and you want to do it, but never let people take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Because once they try to do it once, they'll think they can do it again. And then you do better than them and make them jealous, and then they're sad and you laugh.
Yes.
I also wanted to say that you'd be surprised what your actual value is.
Oh my God.
Because, and this is something, and I feel like most of us on this panel itself are still learning ourselves, but it's a constant evaluation of who you are, what your value is. Like even up till now, like just as on my photography gig, I just recently raised my prices to something I never thought I would ever, be willing to charge. And then the next thing I know, like just for this convention, I was like, no one's I'm gonna get like 2 or 3 people. And the next thing I know, I'm all booked up.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait, when did this, how, what's going?
Seek advice. Like even, not everyone can give you advice on like rates and stuff like that, but seek advice. I worked for a company last year, and they were like, all right, give me a bit of how much you want your work to be. And I called up one of my friends, I'm like, we've only talked twice. I can't say what the company name is, I can't say what the project is. I don't know what the hell to charge. And he's like, say $8,000. I was gonna say 500.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I said 800, and they said yes. No, I said 8,000, and they said yes.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Don't forget that 0.
Yes, yeah, the big thing. And the thing is, like, it's okay if you don't know your value, because there is information out there to find it.
Yep.
If it's for art, if it's for game design, and I don't know, I'm gonna say, if a company asks you for a value, and you're like, I don't know what this rate would be, and they won't give you a number, they might be trying to take advantage of you. And if you're a company who does, Kobold Press doesn't know it. Kobold Press is dope as hell. If a company asks you and they don't give you a number, be cautious.
Yeah.
Be cautious and consider it, because you're a person first. You are always a person first. And people usually want to work with you because they think that you're a decent person and you can do decent work. And if they will help you know your value, and if they're like, okay, you know what, well, like, how about like $2,000? And that's above what you were thinking. Also, consider asking the person who gave you the number. They might not have time, but they might give you a basis of why that's the rate. Like, KP can probably explain to me how photography rates work better than I can. I look pretty in front of a camera. I will not take pictures. I have no idea how much that's worth. Another friend of mine, and I'm not gonna look at her because she'll laugh at me. She has been working in the industry for so long, and she's like, Gabe, here's what all of these rates are worth. So if anyone gives you this number and you say no, I'm gonna yell at you. And it wasn't you, Tanya. More people are doing this to me. So ask people, seek the information online.
Yeah.
If like there's a chance that like even talking to Dot, I don't always know numbers.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And Dot will just be like, well, actually, here's the general rate of why we do this, what we can afford. And then it's like, oh, that makes sense. I understand why this is the value.
Yeah.
I ran a lot, I'm sorry.
No. The other time, like in that situation, also what I found is when people are like, well, what do you want to charge? When that happens to me, I just throw out a big number. I'm like, whatever, man. Okay, how about twice what I normally charge for anybody, or what I would think to charge, right? And what normally ends up happening is either they immediately accept, which is a big sign of, oh, I am really undercharging. Holy crap, I should have probably done like 4 times that. Or if they'll come back to you and be like, that's a little above our budget. And then you go, well, what's your budget?
Yeah.
What is it that you're actually trying to, like, what do you want for this? And they can then start giving you numbers. And that's when you can start going, okay. And then, you know what? Explain your process if you have to. Be like, this is the reason why I charge what I charge. Like,
Very true.
all this is involved in this process. And that's the reason why time is money. And this is how much time I have to spend on this.
Yeah.
So,
And if you're ever in doubt, just, think of a number that you think you're worth, double that.
Yep.
Consider the company you want to work for. If you have a feeling they're going to be problematic, you add a PETA tax.
Yeah.
yeah.
A what?
PETA tax.
See, I don't even know what the hell this is.
Pain in the,
Oh,
yeah,
the tissue.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, like the food.
Yeah, no, not the food, darling.
But it's spelled the same way.
I mean, I love you, Gabe.
Who said I'm
adore you.
precious? Thank you.
So I'm hearing that maybe advice has come into play for
Oh,
some of
yeah.
you across
Oh my
this
God.
process. What is maybe the best advice you've been given as you have been on this journey of freelance?
Do it anyways. Who cares if you do it first? No one's gonna do it the way you do because you are not them.
That's good advice.
Yes.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I was gonna do that. Do it.
Yeah.
I'll buy yours. Like it doesn't. If someone makes the exact same thing as me, then they plagiarized it. If they make the same concept and it's different, dope as fantasy. Fantasy is the same book with different words every time, and we still play it. We still buy it. How many dice have you bought?
Don't. That's dangerous.
Well,
That-
I actually may be having the lowest number.
They're all dice,
Too many.
but they still look different enough.
Yeah.
And there are new dice makers all the time.
You're right.
They keep taking my money.
Yes.
So even if someone else has done it first,
Yeah.
do it still.
Yeah.
Make your thing. Your thing is going to be different, and it's got value because you made it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hold to your own approach. Don't get caught up in the people telling you what you should have done, what you could be doing, because then you're not being yourself.
Yeah.
That is huge. If you have a gut feeling on how you want to approach something, how you want to do something, take that approach, because that is being true to yourself in the process. Yes, someone may have an opinion about it. That's their opinion, darlings.
Yeah. Trust your gut. That's the best advice I can get. Like, your intuition will probably lead you so far. So
Yep.
trust your gut, ask questions. Again, I'm all about community. We can talk to each other. We can be visible. We can talk about the hard stuff and just learn from each other and trust your gut.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm having a hard time picking one because so many amazing ones have been given. Honestly, I think the one that really has worked for me is just keeping good company. Just having the right people around me, even if they're not working with me on something, just watching them, seeing how they work, and seeing the type of community that they create has inspired me and taught me where I need to be. Yeah, I still stumble to this day. I do things, but they're either willing to directly tell me to my face, be like, hey, you're fucking up. My apologies.
Hey, we get one. It's PG-13.
I took it. I got it. I
PG-13 says
took
one.
it.
One
Yes.
per movie.
You're messing up, and then you're like, oh crap. Okay, let me course correct, or just. That's really what has helped me so much this entire time, is having these amazing, talented people, especially groups of people like you all. I watch them and learn from them constantly, and I think that has helped me a lot. So
Don't learn from me. I'm a bad example.
Yeah.
Yes.
learn the best from them.
There you go.
So when we look at a journey start to finish, we learn a lot, I'm guessing, along the way. Sometimes we really wish we could go back to our little naive selves and shake and be like, know this thing before you know it. What do you wish you had known from the start? What's something you've learned you wish you could go back and tell your young self?
Don't try to people please. Don't try to always say yes. If you say yes to everything, you're gonna
Burn out.
Yeah, you're just gonna burn out, and nobody's gonna benefit from it. So, I would just tell myself, like, it's okay to say no. It really is okay to say no. On your end, on a publisher's end, it's a conversation that will keep going even if a no is placed on the table. So.
And this is something I kind of need to say even to myself today, is you don't need to do everything. You don't need to be, if you want knowledge of it, sure. It's fun to know how the process works, but like we established, this entire industry is a big team. Even if you're working as a freelancer, even if you're working individually in something, it is a puzzle piece that will fit somewhere along the way. You have people around you that are willing to help and willing to pick up where you are lacking. So you don't beat yourself up. If you're passionate about it and you want to grow in that direction and learn about it, go for it. But don't beat yourself up for like, oh, I wish I knew how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Well, you already know how to do this. Keep doing this. Someone will come and pick up that slack for you and help you out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Mistakes aren't setbacks so long as you learn and grow and improve from them. It's very easy to get caught off, but what if I do it wrong? What if I make a mistake? You know what? They're actually good, because you'll learn so much more from that mistake, from that oopsie-daisies, because you're going to pay attention and you're going to want to fix it and remember to be better for next time. Mistakes are actually a part of the process, and they're okay to have in your process. They're not something you need to avoid. In fact, if you make mistakes, that means you are learning, you are trying, you are growing, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. What is the artistic saying? It's process, not product, right?
Yep.
It's all about that process.
Very much so.
It's okay to be excited about something you've made. I had this concept that being excited about something was not the right choice. If I made something, if I made a creature, I was like supposed to be modest or calm or like, no, it's all right. When other people are excited, no, I wish that younger Gabe had felt like he could be excited about the things that he was making and look at something that someone else called cool and like be like, you know what that is? Like be excited with them. I spent a lot of time where I was like, okay, those 3 people like it, but like nobody else said it, so it's not actually that cool, or like the mechanics of this are crap because only 18 people said that they would use it and it was seen by, but no, I spent a lot of time downplaying my own achievements because I thought that I had to. And I was wrong.
Yeah. Celebrate that stuff we work so hard for.
Yeah.
Especially, we live that word, the hustle, so the least you can do is celebrate your own things. I love that.
Celebrate your victories, and
Yeah.
with friends or by yourself, celebrate like whatever kind of victory it is. Let yourself be happy about something that you're doing, even if nobody else knows about it. If you wrote a story and no one else has seen it, you did it.
Yeah.
Like, and you're allowed to feel good about things that make you're allowed to feel good about things that make you feel good.
Yeah. All right, we are at that halfway point, speaking of things to celebrate, so we're going to start taking questions from the audience. I'm sure after listening to everybody talk, maybe you've got some. Maybe they're a little bit more specific, maybe they're more broad, but there are 2 mics right in the middle. Please take one. Remember, hands-free, 6 feet apart, please, and just kind of line up, and we'll go one by one. We're going to go back and forth between the mics, so we'll start with this front one, and then we'll hop to the back one and continue the process.
Yeah. Oh, look at me. I'm handsome.
On the big screen, darling.
Hi there.
Hi, my name is Ram, he, him. I am an aspiring tabletop role-playing game writer, and I have a very specific question for future me, okay? Right now, I am currently engaged in doing all my learning, all the stuff that I have to do, and I'm engaged with the grind. And I'm going to self-publish, keep grinding, but I am concerned as a person of color about what freelancing might mean for me, because I've seen examples where on the very extreme you see kind of like crass marketing and tokenism in selecting, writers or individuals to be on a project.
Yep.
And on the other end is well-meaning, well-intended, but somebody wasn't ready, and then they couldn't really stick the landing. So how will I know that I'm ready, that they're actually approaching me for something beyond just either tokenism or something well-intended, that I am ready, I can execute, I can bring something valuable to the table?
You can bring something valuable to the table by existing. Like, just to start. You bring something valuable to the table because it is your logic and your mindset. And if people are going to, it's hard to tell who will or won't take advantage of you. But you do it, and you do it well, and you make them see that. And then if they take advantage of you, the next time they come around, you tell them no, and you tell them why. And you own it. Because when you have that experience, and you've done the work, and you've shown what you can do, and they did not respect it, you have weight then, because they've appreciated you, they've acknowledged it, and now it's like, okay, but by the way, that was terrible. That's not the way I want to approach it. And I did consultancy on a project, and they used the word slavery in the book. And I was like, all right, real talk, why is this word even in the book? And you know what the creator did? He's like, you're right, that's stupid. He took it out. It was that easy. It was, and I was nervous. I was afraid it wouldn't happen again. But all I had to do was say that, and it's a terrifying moment. The moment that it stops being terrifying is probably the moment when you might be too comfortable. I don't think you'll ever feel like you're ready, but that doubt probably means you're ready now.
Nice. Other thoughts?
Would you like to go first?
I'm sorry.
No. Oh, that was honestly, that was a perfect answer to me. The other thing I would say is just, who else are they approaching on this? Are you the only one?
Is there a way to know that in advance?
Ask.
Just ask around. So you
that's
have to
true.
build your network
That's true. You can't just
and
ask.
check in
Yeah,
with them.
Just
okay.
be like, hey, am I the only one that is on here? Like, you can simply be like, why did you pick me? Like, what value do you want me to add to this project? Am I the only voice that you're tapping into? Or am I one of the voices you're asking for? What is my team like going to be? You know, who am I going to work with on this? Based off of that, you're going to get your answer, you know, how they're planning to approach all of this. If you're the only person, usually that just means that, like you said, it's tokenism at work at that point. You know, be it writing, be it streaming, it's worth asking that question. Like, what value do you plan to see from me on this? Is it just my talent as a creative, or is it my skin color? You know? So yeah, it's just ask. And if they're not willing to answer, they're not the place to be.
Red flag, got it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for all
Yeah,
your
of course.
answers and being here and doing this. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We're going to grab the mic at the back.
Yeah, hello. I was just wondering, with freelancing, it often involves doing things that you may not have as much experience in. So what is the largest leap of faith that you have taken in your career personally?
Ooh, great question. Largest leap of faith, y'all.
I left my corporate company to work in tabletop RPG. It's again, I trusted my gut, and I get to be on panels like this now. But it's yeah, sometimes you have to take that leap of faith, and we have that common theme of passion and community. So I know I can rely on people within the community. Even when I took that leap of faith, like, I knew I wasn't gonna fall flat on my face. I might fall a little faster than I think I am, but I had that intuition that, like, everything will be okay. It might not feel okay, but it will be.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, honestly, I think this is when I wrote for Kobold Press. I mean, like I said, I started out as a photographer, right? And so, to me, I never imagined myself in a position where I got approached by someone and be like, hey, we like your voice and the things you have said and the topics you have talked about, and we want you to do that now in an official capacity. And I'm just like, excuse-moi, I'm sorry. But when that happens, it's fantastic, it's scary, and you're like, will this actually ever pan out? But when you take that effort and you put out something that you're passionate about, it'll work out, and it's fantastic. I think that was like the big thing for me, and it made me feel like, you know what, I actually can do this. I actually am comfortable, confident enough that I'm willing to do this again and again and again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, for me, it would definitely be being able to professionally say, roll for initiative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jumping behind that screen was the biggest leap of faith for me. Absolutely. And I don't think I'd ever go back, because I adore being a DM as much as I adore being a player, quite frankly. So that for me was the big jump into the unknown, but so glad and grateful that I did.
Yeah.
I made an interesting post online. A company reached out and was like, we like this idea, we want to do it. And they were like, all right, can we buy this from you? And I'm like, I don't want to sell it, but this is what I want to do, and I want you to give me numbers. And I was like, oh, wait, what if they say no? They said yes, and now I'm just waiting on my email.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, let's grab a question here from the front.
Hello. I have kind of a two-parter.
We're going to speed run these questions, y'all. I want all of them.
As you guys all do different things, like you have cosplay, video, like YouTube, pictures and stuff. I feel as though I'm like a good enough writer. I've been writing my own stuff since I was in high school. I DM for 2 weekly campaigns, and haven't published anything that I feel like would be worth it. So the first part is, where did you find your confidence to do it? And then when you did it, did you have a portfolio, or did you just have kind of like a few things?
I didn't. I posted it on Twitter and muted my notifications and went to sleep. So serious. It works way better than you think. 'Cause then you don't get the notifications, you wake up, and the people that liked it, you know who they are, and then you DM them.
Pretty good strategy.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing a lot more than you all think.
Yeah. Honestly, like, part of the reason I think the big thing I blew up on was outside. I posted a topic about how to make chai, and that blew up. I think it reached like 7,000 likes and a bunch of retweets, and like celebrities were liking and commenting on it. I'm like, it's chai. It's not, you boil tea leaves. What do you want from me? Why is this? But it blew up, and then that gave me the confidence to be like, oh, you know what? I can post things, especially things that are unique about me, about my background, where I come from. So I've used that continuously then as inspiration of, okay, I'm gonna start talking more about my life as, you know, someone who's of Indian origin, of South Asian origin, my culture, my religion. Whether I'm not a, you know, religious person, I'm spiritual, but I still find my, you know, Hinduism very fascinating and very inspiring in terms of storytelling. And so I use that and just be like, hey, these are some of the things that I have dealt with my entire life, some of the things I've worked with my entire life, and people gravitated to that, and it's a unique voice. So, you know, it can be anything. Like, you do ballet can be something, you know, make some class out of it, you know? Kick butt doing ballet, I don't know. It's a fantastic. That sounds fun to me. I can probably put something out about, you know, photography as a mechanic in it, right? So whatever you are interested in, you're passionate about, even if you think it's not gonna pan out, this is something I recently heard, or I think I read it somewhere, and it was actually someone in the porn industry, but they were mentioning sorry, PG-13. It is PG-13 in the sense that no matter how you look physically, right? In their words, how you look physically, how you are, there's absolutely someone who finds you hot, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be, I heard that, there's always going to be someone, regardless of how you feel you look, someone's going to be attracted to that, right? Similarly, when I read that, I was like, you know what? That applies everywhere. And be it any form of creative content, you make it, someone digs it.
Yeah. Somebody out there will watch it or consume it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting someone else or doing something illegal, don't do that. There's people out there that are going to be willing to consume that content and hype you up about it and be willing to, you know, enjoy it. So, you know, be confident in putting those things out.
I'm huge into positive self-talk. So when you say you're not a writer yet, but you've written, I would be like, oh my gosh, you're a writer. Like, I would just say, I am a writer. I'm not an aspiring designer. Like, we kind of set these metrics for ourselves that are a little arbitrary. So like, I'm not a game designer because I haven't gotten it published. I've gotten maybe an indie company to publish this, but I haven't done this. Or I've been on this stream, but I haven't been on this stream. Like, if you stream on Twitch, you're a Twitch streamer. If you have a podcast, you're a voice actor. So try to use those, like, take that, you learn confidence over time for sure. So instead of saying like, I want to be a writer, if you've written something, you are a writer. So you'd say, I'm a writer. And then when you talk like that, like when you said you GM 2 campaigns, I'm already excited. Like, tell me about those campaigns. Like, you have experience. So try to work on that confidence just by saying, I am the GM. I am.
My name's Ryan. I'm a writer.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you guys.
nice. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. All right, let's grab
Thank you,
a
guys.
question from the back.
Can I have
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
One more thing. And if you want to, as the writer that you are, start dabbling and seeing how people are going to react to you. There are fantastic online places where you can start dabbling. I'm talking DM's Guild and RPG Drive-Thru. Because those will give you places where you can post your work, share your work with others who are passionate about the game as well. And you can also start getting feedback. In fact, you can encourage it. And feedback will help you grow and develop further as a writer.
Nice. Great. Back.
Right. Hello, my name is Sebastian. I've been writing and publishing my own games for about 1.5 years, and I was wondering if the panel had any thoughts about like proactive opportunity searching versus reactive opportunity searching. Like, is it worthwhile to get in touch with people even if you don't necessarily know there are opportunities for you, or is that like cringeworthy?
Ooh, that's a fine balance in terms of essentially cold calling. If you're going to start outreaching to others who may not be as familiar with you, find a common thread to pull on first. Don't just be like, hey, I'm here, let's talk. Open up with, hey, I saw you were doing this project, I saw this work, I saw that you are working on this particular stream. And start feeding off of that so that you have some commonality in your approach.
Yeah.
Don't ever be like, I'm here, I want to do this for you, what can you do for me? Because the second someone on the other side sees that, guess what? You become a dime a dozen in a pile of so many other emails that are just like that. When you turn the tables and make it about them and what you would like to do with them, not for them, there's a very different use of those two words. That's a great way to start your cold call contacts. But it's also good to have the type of things where if someone's approaching you, to make sure you're doing the same for yourself.
Yeah.
What can they bring to you? What can you do together? How can you work on something as a team?
Yeah.
So it's something important to keep in mind for both sides of that coin.
That's good advice. I know, too, a lot of companies have self-submission opportunities, right? Like outlets to submit, especially writing. So that takes a little bit of extra research, but never miss out on those chances to just put in the way that the company asks you to submit for that. And then a lot of companies now also have SRD content, ways that you can take great stuff they already have out, write around it, write settings and those kind of things. And those are great touch points, like Vee was saying, right, to get in with them and say, hey, I've actually built off of your content already. Check out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Other thoughts?
Oh, man.
It's cool if not. We're running. I want to make sure we get through as many questions as possible. So
I think everybody's hit the nail on the head.
yeah,
so.
right with that. Great. Let's grab another question while we can.
Hello, I'm Candy. I do TTRPG design and writing. I also stream with the Dicey Amazons. And
Nice.
And my question is, what is the project that you are most proudest of working right now that you can talk about, of course, and why?
Oh.
Class modifier module. That was the thing that I put out for people to just get, and it was fun seeing people get excited about an alternative. It was validating seeing people want to support something that was free, and it was exciting to see people care about something that I just cared about. That was the thing that made me like, I do enjoy this, even if it's just for me, and I saw other people cared too.
Mine actually just recently wrapped. It was Idle Champions Presents Season 2, Trials of Mount Tiamat. That involved 16 people, including DM, getting everyone organized and ready for each of these episodes. I did a lot of behind-the-scenes organization and making sure everyone was where they were supposed to be, hitting their spots. So when that all came together and we had that big 16-panel reveal a couple weeks ago, that was a huge sigh of relief on my part, but that was something that I'm quite proud of how that turned out. Yeah.
Oh, man. For me, I think it's just, as of right now, is just the various streams that I'm on and the characters and stories I get to tell. I made a decision a little while ago, like last year, that every character I'm going to play is going to be Indian-based, POC-based, or at least coded that way, even if they are of a different class or race. But and the stories I'm able to tell because of that shift in mindset in how I approach my characters, how I would, someone of that background would approach a certain scenario, has really changed the stories I could tell. And I'm always, every week, excited to play each of my games because each one feels fun and unique and true to me. We just finished and wrapped up about last week, or the week before, was it? Our Friday game.
Oh, yes. Yeah, our Fate campaign.
Yeah, so we had a Fate campaign where I got to play an Indian prince. And that was a lot of freaking fun. And we just finished up that season. And to be able to explore how that story would pan out was a lot of fun. So I think that's the thing that I'm really excited about and continue to be excited about.
I always told myself I wanted to be in a position where I can give other people opportunities that I might have not had or I've seen my friends struggle with and break down barriers. And I kind of wiggled my way into this community manager role with Roll20. So if you want to work with me, let me know, because I'm super excited to try to break down as many barriers as possible in this industry.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we are at our 5-minute call, so maybe 2 more questions. We're going to try to get 2 more in, everybody. Back to the back.
Hi, I'm Susanna. My day job is, I guess, boring freelance writer, so I don't write creatively for my job, but I am a freelancer. I'm also a fiction writer and a novice DM, and I was going to ask about imposter syndrome because I'm pretty sure most of you have experienced it at some point or another, but it actually kind of got covered pretty well. So I guess my question is, I have ADHD and I was just recently diagnosed, and I'm like all over the place with like ideas and stuff that I want to do and where I want to put stuff. And then there's also the crippling fear of putting things out into the world that are under my name because I usually ghostwrite. So I guess, do you have any suggestions for like staying on track, picking the right platforms to start publishing stuff on, and like being disciplined without the deadlines that I rely on in my day job?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a big question.
It is a big
sorry.
question. Thoughts on, I'll try to wrap, and please tell me if I don't. Maybe a question around how do we stay focused as a freelancer when we may be struggling with a variety of things, from imposter syndrome to ADHD to not having a deadline because you're writing on your own. How do you stay focused?
Set your own. Honestly, I set my own deadlines for things. Like when it comes to painting miniatures, especially, it's like, okay, I'm starting this one. I know this is gonna be a month-long project. And I will put that date into my Google Calendar, and that sucker has an alarm, like the week before, 2 days before, and that type of thing. It just automatically gets me there. In terms of my prepping, both as a DM and as a player, hello, Trello. That has been a godsend for me because I'm extremely visual with my organization. So that helps me kind of plot out like, oh, I have this idea, I want to work on that, and I just have these different Trello boards that help me keep that all as organized as possible for myself, basically.
Yeah. I think the other thing for me, especially in the terms of imposter syndrome, is I verbally or write out that I'm actually worth what I'm doing. Just recently, to justify to myself my price increases for my services, I literally put out a tweet, a public tweet going, I am worth what I'm worth. I did this, I've built myself to this point. I've done so many things to get here. And I am doing what I'm doing because I'm worth doing what I'm doing. And I think that really helped me realign myself and keep pushing to do what I like doing versus going, oh, you know what? Why is anybody listening to me? Why no? And even today, right? Yes, it's a bad habit. Like I started off this panel talking about going, why am I here? But as I'm talking with these amazing folks, I'm happy to be here. And I'm proud to be here because I've done things to get to this point in my life that people were willing to listen to me. And yeah, there's going to be moments where I'm just going to be like, what the F am I up here for? But at the same time, I've done so much to get to this point and people value it. So, having that moment to recognize that is going to motivate you and keep pushing you to do more, right? So yeah, I think that's the big thing for me, is just verbally announcing it to the world that you're worth the damn.
Nice. All right, one last question. Let's see if we can't get it in here at the end.
Yeah, sorry, I'll try to be quick. We just passed the 2-year mark on this Invisible Sun stream that we've been running that we all really love. The issue is all of us, including myself as the producer, we all have careers that we really love, and we're running out of time. So my question is, when do you decide to involve in contract freelancers, or how long do you just keep soldiering solo?
When you can afford it.
Yes.
Like if you can afford one person is still going to be a big difference.
Yes.
And it depends on how much that person can do. That person might be able to do exponentially more than you thought. If you can afford to hire one person for their worth, and that gives you time to rest, that's probably going to be everything you need. And then that person helps you make more money to hire another person, and then you have 2 people doing this design work, so you can diverge yourself to other directions. Like if you're like, we can afford to do this, and try it out for a month. And if you notice a difference in that month, then it shows that it's worth it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Great answer. All right, y'all. As we wrap up, tell everybody where they can find you when you're not showing your beautiful faces on this stage all weekend.
My beautiful face.
Hi, y'all. Again, my name is Danny Quatch. I am the community manager for Roll20, and you can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan.
My name is KP. I'm mainly known as KP11 Studios. You can find me in all your social medias, on Instagram, on Twitter. I practically live on Twitter, so if you're on there and you say hi, I'll probably be saying hi back to you. And you can catch most of my various ideas and photos and anything else I'm doing right on there. So, check me out there.
I'm Vee Mus'e, and if you want to find me, best place is to start on Twitter at @V_Mus'e. There is a link tree on my profile as well that'll take you to everything else where you want to find me. And I am the partner manager at Codename Entertainment, as well as professional DM, player, and painter of minis.
And I'm Gabe Hicks. Gabe James Games across the internet. Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. TikTok's weird. Instagram.
It's thirsty.
And my name is not that on Tumblr, and I'm not telling you what it is, because that's the forbidden place.
Oh. And everybody, I'm Little Red Dot. I'm the Twitch producer for Kobold Press. Make sure to drop by our booth this weekend. We've got 2 more panels, one on world building and one on TikTok and Instagram for TTRPG. So make sure to check us out again this weekend. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. Have a great PAX, y'all.
Look how cool my friends are. Look at them. Look at them. Y'all are beautiful. No, don't lie.